Raw materials are damaged during storage, transportation, or production handling. Here are some of the best practice reduction strategies to reduce the impact of poor material handling. Implement proper storage and transportation protocols. Train staff in best practices for handling materials. Use protective packaging and correct storage environments. 1. Implement proper storage and transportation protocols. Identify storage requirements, for example, temperature, humidity, weight limits. Use appropriate shelving, racks, and bins to prevent material contact with the floor. Label storage areas clearly and assign designated zones for different materials. Implement FIFO, first in, first out, and FEFO, first expiry, first out, for inventory control. Install environmental controls such as temperature and humidity monitors. These are some best practices for transportation protection. Develop loading and unloading standard operating procedures to prevent mishandling of cargo. Use shock-absorbing materials, foam padding, airbags, inside transport containers. Secure cargo using straps, pallets, shrink wrap, or locking systems. Install GPS tracking and impact sensors to monitor material conditions in transit. Train drivers on safe driving practices to minimize vibrations and shocks. 2. Train staff in best practices for handling materials. Develop handling standard operating procedures for different materials based on fragility and sensitivity. Conduct hands-on training on proper lifting, stacking, and securing methods. Train staff in correct use of forklifts, pallet jacks, and conveyors. Implement refresher training sessions every 6 to 12 months. Use visual aids and signage to reinforce proper handling practices in work areas. Safety and error reporting is critical and contributes to reducing material handling errors. Provide personal protective equipment like gloves, safety shoes, and lifting belts to minimize accidental damage. Implement a damage reporting system to track incidents and identify patterns. Encourage feedback from staff to improve handling methods. Conduct root cause analysis for repeated material damage incidents. 3. Use protective packaging and correct storage environments. Suggested best practices for packaging protection are as follows. Use impact-resistant containers, foam inserts, and bubble wrap for fragile items. Apply moisture-proof and corrosion-resistant coatings for sensitive materials. Store perishable items in climate-controlled environments. Suggested best practices for palletization and stacking are as follows. Ensure correct weight distribution when stacking items on pallets. Secure pallets using shrink wrap or banding to prevent movement. Follow stacking limits to avoid overloading shelves or unstable stacks. Best practices suggested for environmental and condition monitoring. Install real-time IoT sensors for temperature, humidity, and shock detection. Use silica gel packs or dehumidifiers for moisture-sensitive materials. Conduct regular inspections and audits of storage areas. The suggested best practices can only be effective when it is implemented, managed, and controlled. Please have a look at the next causes for scrap generation in the following videos. You may also like, subscribe, and send us a comment if you would want to add value to the channel or become part of the OPIX Coach ecosystem.